because in the work that you do, you will break the boundaries, you will forge the new innovations, and you will advance the quality of care in which we're going to give to provide the care to those injured and those who have suffered post-traumatic stress, to those men and women who are so much in need. As Admiral Mike Mullen, who addressed this group last year, said, Admiral Mike Mullen is the outgoing chairman of the Joint Chiefs of Staff. He said last year that this organization is committed to integrating the sciences and engineering aspects that deliver medical capabilities in the most urgent areas: traumatic brain injury, post-traumatic stress. Time matters. We need to move on as fast as possible. I can assure you that both CNO Roughhead, Chief of Naval Operations Roughhead, and CNC Amos, Commandant of the Marine Corps, who on a daily basis calls me. If he doesn't call me, he calls Dr. Cheatham. And he says, what are we doing to get on with understanding the emerging technologies and those innovations that are occurring that can help the men and women who are wounded warriors? We have to go faster so that we can get them the help that they need. And as I told CNO Roughhead, as I told Admiral Mullen, as I tell the Commandant of the Marine Corps, General Amos, and his Assistant Commandant, General Dunford, and I appreciate the enthusiasm and I appreciate the rapidity and the interest that they have in caring for those wounded warriors. But the scientific process takes time. It is not something that can be done fast. It is not something that can be done without maturation. And again, this society represents to me the ability to come together and to do that interdisciplinary work that we must do. As you sit in your labs and as you do your thinking, you also need to make sure, as Bobby has said, you have those gap research organizations that are there so that we can make sure that as emerging technologies and as emerging therapies come along, we can introduce them as fast as practicable with quality and safety as a basis in order to help the men and women who will need it in the future. Whether you realize it or not, an integral part of this mission and of the care team is you. And you are a vital extension of our post-combat casualty care team. I mean, this society becomes that part to us. And although you may live in a nuanced world in which you do very esoteric research that you feel that no one understands, the key to this whole thing is to come together and to put those small pieces together like the puzzle on the card table, so that at the end of the day you can come and actually structure a pattern that makes sense, that informs us and that takes us to another level of understanding. And that's what science has been about in the past, that's what it is today, and that's what it will be in the future. Now we have some really neat ways of doing the future. That nanotechnology, which I don't even pretend to understand, the stem cell research, which I'm not going to even get close to, all of the other biochemical and biotechnology areas that are going to be important. But those small areas, those small nuanced segments of research are what it is going to take to bring together, to give us the complete picture of how we're going to do care and the types of scientific and creative ways of therapy that we must utilize for the future care of our patients, not only our wounded warriors, but all of those men and women that will depend on us and on the knowledge that we give in the future. I should say that Navy medicine has a long history of research and development. Our first labs were developed in 1850s, but since 1942, the first major lab that we have in Cairo, Egypt, Namru 3, was developed. It came about from the U.S. Typhus Commission. During the Second World War, typhus was a disease ravaging North Africa with a high